it's been quite an interesting weekend, of course. It was Easter holidays. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself, our viewers out there. And here, I don't know, Simon, where you went to. Did you party?
Yes, I even lost my voice. I just got my voice back recently. Yes, hey, of course, you have to enjoy your Easter holiday. We went to even Kirinyaga. What did you call it? You called it what falls? I told you about it. Yeah, Njekafia Falls. It was very nice. I enjoyed fully. And what about you?
I did a road trip with my children. At least I knew they can enjoy long road trips, which is a good thing. Yeah. But I did not party. I don't party. I just took lots of water.
My goodness.
It's okay. Being a parent, you see.
Yeah.
And CEO, you?
I was right here in the office doing a lot of... The Pope died, man.
Oh, yeah.
So we were trying to send Papa off. But I'm not a Catholic, though. Yeah.
But you still have respect for him?
A lot of respect for... Being the first Jesuit?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Tell us more about this. Tell us more. Will we get a black pope? Tell us, CEO.
A black pope?
Yes.
There's been one, but in the pipe dream now. But...
Before we go there.
Who are you? Who are you, Simon? Introduce yourself.
Well, I am Simon Says, indeed. I am a content creator. I make content that makes you smile and think at the same time. But most importantly, I also use my voice to bring life to your brand. That is me, Simon Says.
And now Maria Nyambane. I am an author of Marriage is a Scam and Love the Original You. I'm so happy to be here on Let's Be Real.
All right.
And I'm CEO Charles Otieno. I'm not an author of Marriage is a Scam, but I believe marriage
is a scam.
It is a good thing.
It is a good thing. You believe it?
Yes.
Even
the
when
day
it forces...
you stop believing in polygamy, I will believe you.
But polygamy is life. Who told you?
You see? Marriage is a scam.
I'm an African, and
Yes.
Africa is our business. But let's go to the Pope.
Yes. Are we going to get a black one? Are we speaking? Let's get a black one.
We are not going to get a black Pope soon.
Why do you say so?
Why would you get a black Pope?
See,
for us to feel valued.
Let me break it down this way. So right now, we all know that the Pope is passed away.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
And this Pope John.
Pope Francis.
Pope Francis, sorry. God, I was thinking John Paul. I was thinking John Paul, the Lord one, yeah.
Pope Francis got to papacy in 2013 after the abdication of Papa Benedict.
Yes, Benedict. I remember Benedict.
Yeah.
He looked very fishy. That Pope also looked very fishy.
He was German.
Yeah,
and you know that when I'm saying that blacks cannot get to be Pope very easily.
Why?
Is because the Italians control papacy for a very long time. John Paul II became Pope, but he was Polish. But it's because he inherited the papacy after the killing of John Pope I in 1968, who was assassinated. But they tried to assassinate him as well. But they were fearing that if they assassinate him, it would look very bad for the church. Remember, even the first Jesuit Pope Francis is an Italian from Argentina.
Oh, so he's still an Italian either way.
He's an Italian. Why? I will give you why, but I don't know what.
Let's go with Maria first.
First of all, I'm not Catholic. Let me start with that.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. But the value that the Pope is given, wow, it's so huge. But that's besides the point. Now, let's talk about how, like, his death is just... I feel like the last Pope, the death was more public than this one. For me, I feel like this one was a bit cooler and low-key than the other one. I expected it to be bigger. And I've not seen... Maybe let's say it's because I'm in Kenya and we have other issues other than mourning the Pope. Also, I would like to know, what is the selection policy of being a Pope? Like, how do they select? That's one. Two, is that a business? Like, it makes me feel like church is a business, but I did not expect that in mainstream, because we've been saying that we need to go to mainstream because in mainstream, at least, we feel like there's structure. But after the Pope dying, now it feels like it's kind of a business somewhat. I don't know why I feel that though, but the Pope has actually shed light in me that whatever is happening, it's also people, even the Pope, money is a big agenda to that.
That's true. Let me even add on this. When it comes to the Pope passing away and Africans feeling a sense of mourning, you know, being honest, even Catholicism is a very white man thing, oriented religion. And having the hope that indeed a white man would now validate your existence in a sense, now giving you a black pope, I think that's just also a pipe dream because they also have their own vested interest. I recognize even in every religion, there has to be vested interest there, whether you like it or not. And then the portrayal and the shield is what? Their belief itself. The best way to drown people is through ideology, and of course having an emblem of coming to that shows that indeed these people can actually now come together, because you see the Pope is more of a symbol, a symbolic leader for the Catholic Church. So now, and literally, but being honest, do you know anybody can actually become a pope once you're actually you actually now are a Catholic, but then now you just have to get the cardinals to vote for you. That's the political side of the 137 of them to vote for you. You can qualify, but good luck getting the votes. That's the real thing. That's the truth of it all. But when it comes to this, I have an issue with, us Africans who get so devout into the Catholicism faith and all these other things. And yet, being real, some of the ideologies and the things that they push, we Africans do not even incorporate that within our daily lives. For example, this Pope that recently passed away, Pope Francis. Why did I say George? Pope Francis. Now, Pope Francis is passing away. He was a very liberal Pope. He was leaning very liberal. He was giving, telling people, encouraging people to even give homosexuality, even marriage, a platform, even saying bless them, so on and so forth. Those are things that we Africans sometimes we may not even incorporate within our lives. We may not even actually now, quote unquote, agree with, but we still, quote unquote, even follow. There are politics inside this sort of thing that even come into play when it comes to even the Pope and even the selection, because there's some conservative leaning popes, and then there's some liberal leaning popes. So all of these dynamics even come to play. That's when you also realize there is politics even in church. And then now these politics can even get dirty, but the reason why they want to keep their dirty linen closed. That's why they only have 137 cardinals going to actually now cast a vote, and now they keep it what? Closed. We do not even know. The only way we know is what? Smoke. Black smoke, oi, we've not made a decision. White smoke, we finally made a decision. That's literally the case. Isn't that right to you?
Yeah. But let me just get back to when Pope Francis took over in 2013. Pope Benedict, who abdicated, brought him a white box and told him, this is the much I have done. You can take it over from now. In that white box, if you read Pope Francis's biography, it's called Spera in Italian, which means hope. He writes that the biggest problem he was dealing with, first of all, is to defrocking the people, the bishops there were 37 who were sex abusing people. This sex abuse which was there, he was dealing with. And why I like Pope Francis is because he comes from Jesuit order, and he tried to deal with things which were in this box, which no other pope have dared to. The scandals which are in church, child abuse and sex molestation, which was there, and he out of 37 bishops, he defrocked like 7. That thing, especially Bishop McCarrick, who has been notorious, was actually defrocked and thrown out of church. So that is a big deal for me. The other dealings which he couldn't and he tried is a financial. Remember that the Vatican Bank holds lots of money for many people, including the organized groups. The Vatican Bank is a custodian of lots of money. So there's money in there, lots of money. And let me just tell you, in 896, Pope Stephen is considered the worst pope in history.
What did he do?
He took the earlier pope was called Pope Formosus. Pope Formosus died, but when he was elected as a pope, he decided after this guy was buried, the pope was buried for almost 6 months. He told them to go and exhume the guy to face charges. So the dead pope was exhumed and put on the trial. in Vatican. 896. So Pope Stephen and the accusers were there and saying, you Pope, the dead body, of course, which has been put on the robe and dressed up in the whole papacy outfits. And they addressed him, and to cut the long story short, they found the dead Pope guilty.
And what do they do?
Now they can't see. They can do like the whole something like which guy?
He's already dead. He's not
So
even
after then what they decided is to go and throw him in River Tiber.
Oh.
So after that he was guilty and thrown in the river.
He's
He
dead.
wasn't buried.
But then now you see, there's a lot of process. For example, there's a cardinal that has to, the head cardinal that has to do a certain ritual on the Pope Francis. Not Pope Francis, Pope. Is it Pope Francis the one who passed away?
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, finally that name is stuck in my
There's
head.
Francis.
Yeah.
The one who abdicated is Benedict.
Yeah.
Before that was John Paul II.
John Paul, yes.
The
John
other
Paul
one
was the most
John
popular
Paul the
one.
First.
Yeah.
Because he ruled for long. He took over in 1978 to 2005, 6 there.
But even Pope Francis is passing away. Well, it was pretty rapid. He just met the Vice President of the United States just like a day before he's passing away, and yet he was quote unquote recovered. He was feeling better from his illness. And then I'm just saying, all of a sudden he just met the Vice President. Then all of a sudden gone. It's very interesting how these things do turn, and it's not even. It's just very interesting. It's just true.
Sometimes you can go into a cardiac shock. You just were getting better, then you stop getting better. It happens.
Oh, it could have been another illness.
Yes,
Yeah.
it could be another illness.
Actually, there is science behind it that when you've been sick for too long, and for the last kick, the cells try so much to keep you alive, but then they crash.
Oh, at the end.
At the end.
Oh.
That's why you see when a guy who's been quite sick in the hospital you can look at that research, has been quite sick in the hospital in a coma. The day he wakes up and tries and tells you, Simon, I want to eat, bring me what?
Bring me meat.
Bring me
Mostly meat.
sinini. Because those cells are trying for the last time.
Like one surge of energy.
Yes.
Oh.
And then the next day you come, you're told the guy has died.
That's actually true.
That's what happens.
Where?
Yeah, it's true.
That's the science behind it. There's a science behind it, actually.
Yeah, true. So even you can be feeling better, then all of a sudden, poop.
Yeah.
That can happen a lot.
Yeah.
And they can take their time, by the way, these guys, before you get a new pope, by the way.
No, they will take quite a while. But the truth is that it is not possible for an African to be a pope very easily. Because the church, the way it's organized, the politics of the church is different from how we look at it. There's a big money involved in that church. There are people there are some politicians who keep lots of money in Vatican. All the money which are from organized group are hidden in Vatican Bank. So they must get a person who will basically protect their resources of Catholicism, one. Number two, you must be someone who they can trust and with entrenched resources beyond the money side.
Secrets.
And secrets. And remember, if you've read or watched In God's Name, you'll see that traditionally, the earlier popes were not saints.
Based on what you've just said, I think it can make even this conclusion. Even as us as Africans, we have to make sure we be alert in the sense that the religion or even the belief that you are actually following, look at the leaders. Do they even trust you guys to even become leaders within the Catholicism?
Setup, yeah.
That is actually something that even you need to look at yourself and actually recognize that, yes, you may be Catholic, but how are even the people that you hold in high esteem, be it the Pope, be it even the cardinals, that even can they even entrust you with the same positions? Do they even see you as an equal? That is a serious
Catholics
issue.
are the most in Kenya.
Are they the most in Kenya?
Yeah, Catholic is the one that hosts a lot.
Is this mostly Kenya?
Yes.
I always be Protestants.
In Africa, it's Catholic.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they
The
can
whole of
hold
West-
4
listen,
masses.
the whole of Karen is Catholic.
The whole of Karen.
Is Catholic.
Yeah, Catholic.
Wow. Y'all are many.
Catholic and
Catholics
government
are
is
so
the same.
many.
What is wrong with y'all? You see, and then I hear cults here coming up in Kenya. See you. Abu, tell me what's going on in Rongo.
So for me, I think I would rather a Catholic 100%. I don't have issue with Catholicism. And it is good because it's order. They have schools, they have hospitals, they're uplifting people. They have an order. And especially where the order the Pope comes from, the Jesuits are fantastic people. My problem is with the other people who are opening small churches without a proper doctrine, like the Rongo Church. The Rongo Church is basically taking advantage of people's ignorance. And you see, Karl Marx wrote that religion is the opium of the world. So even if you see, this is the only country where in Kenya where people are offered hope in heaven only. And if you are poor, you buy that hope easily. And they try so much to tell you that your condition here is so worse. If you get to that church and they offer you hope, you'll get a better condition in heaven. It is true, the heaven is a better place. But the same God you serve can be good to you even on earth. So that you get your money here, you build a nice house, you live like a king here. Live like a king in heaven, in earth, then go live as a king in heaven. Don't try to be so poor in earth, and then you think you're going to be rich like a king.
That's true. Even I agree with you 110%. And I want to even channel Dr. C when I say this. I say, when we talk about poverty mindsets, and then now when we talk about poverty mindsets, this will be even the context we even put this. When you actually the best way, this is something I've realized, the best way to manipulate someone is to literally now dig into their ideology. Because now they focus solely on them, now not even facts or anything. They focus, because when you focus on transforming someone's ideology, the way they interpret truth is through the lens of that ideology. And hence, that's why these guys in Rongo, what did? They refused any help, medical aid. They refused anything. And they would rather die. Some of them actually did. And some of them died. That's why ideology is very powerful. And be very careful on the ideologies that you incorporate within your own life. Because that's the lens in which you see the world. And the lens in which you see the world is not how you move. And you can even move blindly. And then when you move now, I'm very hesitant when you actually now start hearing pastors and people behind the pulpit saying blind faith. Blind faith is what will make you walk into a wall, and you wonder why you have a big thing coming out of your head, because you're smacking the wall every single time. That's the truth.
But me, I always say this. Okay, these are some of the rules that I will give people. For the last time, listen. If you go to a church, the church is full, people are attending every day, and the pastor is the only person driving, you have a problem. And that pastor wants you in church all the time. They don't care about what you do, you have a problem. If a pastor tells you they have a calling, when they were called, they should have gone to class and do theology now. You have your Bible. You need to read your own Bible. God has not instructed pastors are the only people who should pray. You can pray too. So when it comes to the time that you are suffering, and then you are saying that because someone told you that you don't need medical, that is, okay, you are the problem at the same time. Even if this person is selling hope, is telling whatever they are telling you, you also have a problem. Another thing that I will insist, it's high time that we realize church is a business, and if we are putting those registered things I can enjoy in shops, can we have registered pastors somewhere in church? Because we are tired of seeing people manipulated and dying because of church.
When you're talking, it's reminded me that there's a research I was involved in, and if you want to know where there's a problem, if you come from an area where there are more flags of churches, there are more flags of different churches. These churches I'm talking about, others have a red flag, others have a blue, yellow,
green,
and they have uniform. My friend, just know that village is poverty stricken. Because they will not preach for you, especially the churches which follow the doctrine of you must come to church with a certain uniform, blue, red, yellow, green, what, and you must carry the flag in front, and there's a drum set behind. Poverty. There's no single kid which goes to school in that. They have a problem. if you go to a church without, and you can see the development in those areas, and anyone can tell you, is almost negligible. People who go to organized religion, you walk to church the way you are, you go to school, you come back, they fare much better in those villages. So if you come from any village, you see the churches with so many flags, run away.
Yeah, save yourself. Because
run away.
The goal is to make heaven on earth, actually.
Run
I get
away.
you. But I have to commend somebody. You have to know that your ability to make other people follow a certain belief that you've come up with because they base it on some doctrine. All right. Then these pastors, these leaders, they're able to now manipulate all these people to dress a certain way. Yeah. They were able to, even the pastor, this guy was even able to even tell these guys to even sell a piece of land. Like, you sell your land and you come live here because of a higher purpose. It's very interesting to see, like, I admire in a certain way the way that they're able to now move over all these individuals, for that now they actually leave their worldly possessions behind and they actually come and do this. That is a very interesting thing, because even that's something to be studied, in the sense that what can move people, what makes people move and actually now let go of things that they actually own, things that they've worked hard for, and then go back and live with this pastor or this guy and saying that I want to follow this person and dress accordingly to what he says or even she says, and actually now live according to the rules and guidelines that they say. And as I wave my red flag, not even knowing that I'm a red flag myself. That is the truth. No, that is the truth. But that is a very interesting thing, because I also have to, we can demonize them, but at the same time we have to look at it and say, there's something in there. There's something there.
Listen,
There has to be something.
Let me ask you, Shakahola happened.
Yes.
People left jobs, officers, police officers,
policemen,
air hostesses, and people, and they went to perish in that ranch called Shakahola. And they were being told, get your kids out of school, by a guy who has never gone to school.
By the way, you point out something. I like that. But do you know there are also modern cults and modern ideologies that we follow, even us ourselves, blindly. If you yourself, you're following something and if you've never even doubted your own beliefs right now, you're following a cult in which that you don't even know. Because a lot of times we're so quick to point out how everybody else is following. But you yourself could also be following a cult and following a belief blindly, because you're not doubting your own beliefs.
That belief should not get to a point whereby I'm selling my land, I'm living a miserable life, or I'm calling poverty to myself. No, that should not be the belief. If I'm following that belief and my life is going well, why would I question anything?
No, but then now you see that does a belief only become harmful based on the outcomes that we get?
Yes.
No, either way.
No.
It's both ways.
No, it's both ways.
You see, it's both ways. No, I don't know the belief I'm following. Listen, I don't know the belief I'm following, but I know one thing for sure.
You don't know what you're following.
Listen, no one is going to tell me something like sell your land for church.
Here's how they tell you. Here's how they'll tell you. They'll tell you this water is the one that actually now gets you that thing that you want. Then all of a sudden, and then they tell you now, because this water will get you that thing. It's prosperity gospel. And then what will happen is the water, now you take it and then you drink it. What will happen is, yes, other things will start happening. Now, because of that one thing that I've told you about the water, now when I tell you, by the way, never use this type of phone, is actually very bad, use this type of phone. Yeah. Then slowly things, by the way, don't wear this kind of dress, wear this. It's not instant, it's a gradual progress that someone happens. Then all of a sudden you start now saying,
when I took the water, was I sleeping in the house or I was working?
Because if
the prosperity came and I woke up in the morning to go and work, it means I should question everything that happened through that period that my success came. I'm not going to start saying that only your water did it.
No.
Listen, even I will not stay at home and pray and expect to get money. I will still pray and...
Listen, here's a manipulation. Here's what happens. The water is just a small ask. It's not a big ask.
Yeah. Yes,
it's just drinking water. It's not a big ask.
Yes.
So when you take it, I now put heavy emphasis on the outcomes, on this.
But did I work? When
I
took the water.
Maria, we're going for a break.
I had to question everything I did for me to get
Take us on a break. Take us on a break.
Let's go on a short break and we will be right back on Let's Be Real.
Now drink some water. welcome back. We're keeping it real and also drinking our water. Yes, we are. As we keep it real. And the stories, ooh, they're going to quench your thirst. Maria, you have a story to tell us.
Before I say the story, I have a question.
What
How
is-
many times does Manchester lose?
Yeah, a lot. They're a bunch of losers.
Wow.
Who told you?
Now, here is the deal now.
He's a
There's an
Manchester
actress in Nigeria
Uh-huh.
who actually, anytime Man U will lose,
Manchester United.
yes,
Yeah.
the husband will come and beat her.
Serious?
Yes. Every time that his team loses, he comes and beats the wife. He takes out the anger on the wife. Actually, till today, the wife hates the team so much. And she would breathe when they win. She'll be like, oh, today I'm not going to be beaten. But right now, yes, she's divorced already, thank God. But she says that anytime right now, she's divorced, but she has that trauma of, they've lost. I dodged a bullet. Because that will have been a beating for her. Yeah.
Man, we need to stop supporting losing teams. Even that leads to a loser mindset. And then what's going to happen is you're going to eventually now go down the drain of now letting out all your frustration in your loserness on even your wife and the ones that even you care about. Because that's even can lead to a losing household. And because you're the head of the family, you can lead them to a losing direction. And that is not the way. Sports are meant to be a place in which you can emotionally release and not a place you can actually now get pent up emotion and release it on other people. Let me repeat that again. Sports are meant to be an emotional release of aggression, of even emotion. You can cry there as your team loses. Congratulations, let your tears flow there. Don't let your emotional aggression and then transpose that on even your family or even your kids. Leave that for yourself. Because even as when it comes to even sports, they're very important for us as a man. When it comes to even those things, we have to remember that sports is an emotional thing for us because we attach our value based on the team. So what happens is when you support a losing team like Manchester United, what happens is you end up having a loser mentality, having a loser brand on yourself. And having a loser brand on yourself, like supporting a team like Manchester United, notice I'm speaking it again, because the main thing is you have to now, it leads you to now going down a road path in which you're behaving erratically and then you just don't. Because that's one thing that women cannot understand about us. The way in which we actually internalize our sports teams. Not only in football, even basketball, because right now even the NBA is going on, the playoffs are going on right now, and even any sport that you've read, even some Indians, even cricket. It's a serious thing, but hey, we attach so much of our value on the team because the team in itself even defines us. For example, oh, you're a Manchester United fan, or you're an Arsenal fan. What does that mean? You're not worried about things this year, you're worried about things next year because you never win anything this year. That's what Arsenal does. That is the truth.
Which team do you support?
I don't want to say
Which team do you support?
Chelsea.
You know, Simon is talking.
Chelsea.
Which team do you support?
Listen.
Which team do you support?
I'm coming to that one.
Uh-huh.
You know, Simon is talking as if his team
It's
is
like
performing.
it's like you're quiet.
So, if you look at the history of Manchester United,
So, go
the
ahead.
greatest club in England,
You wish.
20 titles,
Uh-huh.
3 Champions League,
See, you're supporting Manchester.
11
That's why this is.
titles
Mm-hmm.
of FA Cup,
Mhm.
and countless small cups I don't mention. Manchester United is the epitome of success. But in that success, you must have one bad year.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the year they have this year.
And
So-
last year?
wasn't a bad year.
What number did you guys end up on the table?
It doesn't matter.
Say it
You were
proudly.
number
Say it
6.
proudly. Yeah,
Six
six.
is a fail.
You see now,
No,
6.
no, no,
Six
no,
is
no,
a
no.
fail.
The
Top
English-
three.
This is
Listen.
no. This is how
Listen.
low Manchester United fans have come.
Listen.
6 is literally considered a successful year.
It is
Do
not-
you see how this loser mindset can sometimes
Listen.
What
dwindle
number did
into your
Chelsea
head?
become? Which number did Chelsea become
Be
last
quiet.
year?
Continue.
You know, someone is just talking because Chelsea actually finished low.
That's what I'm keeping quiet. Continue.
But what I'm trying to say that in that case, it is not football. The people have mental issues. That man must have a mental issue,
Yeah.
because football is a manly thing. You watching you have banter,
Mhm.
you enjoy. Then when you come home, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
That's why you always expect even your wife to support a different team in the house so that you can be laughed at.
Yeah.
That's how it is. The order of the game is always very different.
Yes.
It's supposed to be something which brings a lot of people together and also conversation. Football or any football match is about conversation and it's creating rapport and banter.
That's it.
So the problem I have is that many people carry their problems and launch it onto football, which is none of their problem. Because people are just playing, you're just watching like the other guy. Why would you give your wife to another man because you lost? The Ugandans who try to exchange their wives.
Yes.
And you now, I have given you my wife, we've lost. What nonsense is that? You see, we say in football, we say that you can change your wife and you can't change your team.
What?
It's a football statement.
Yeah, you must.
But it's not true. But
It
it's
is
not true.
It must.
You can divorce your wife. You can't divorce your team.
You can't.
You can change your wife.
See, those are the things that women cannot understand about men.
Let me ask something. Which team is winning right now? The number one?
No, right now the
Liverpool.
Say yeah, Liverpool, yes.
Okay, I'm a Liverpool fan as of right now. Yeah. Till next year, I know which one is winning. Yes, so that if you've said that, so that I can be laughed at. So
that's
that I can
every
laugh at
girl.
people.
Okay, that is.
Let me say something. Let me say something about this. If that man did not beat the opponent that he was watching with in that place that he was going to watch football, that is disrespect to the wife. How do you come home? You are watching football with the opponents, because definitely if it's Manchester and Liverpool fans were there. You would have beat the Liverpool fans. They are the ones who are winning, not your wife at home. He was there cooking for you to come home and remove your stress with the food. So this is if that man did not break the DSTV or the TV that they are watching with, because that is where he saw the action, then it means that man is, first of all, yes, mental health is there, but also women should understand when men hate them.
No,
you should understand when a man hates you, because a man who claims that you are the wife and he loves you, he will not come home to beat you over something that you don't even care about. For example, me, I would see the ball run around the field and everything happening. I don't care. And then you come and bring your problems to me because of your football. That means you hate me so much. That was hate. Another thing is this.
Let us say.
No. Another thing is this. This man knew that Manchester will keep losing. I'm sure he knew that Manchester will keep losing. So he was hopeful that they will lose more so that he can go and beat the wife.
Are you serious?
Yes, because there's no way you'll tell me that he was not planning to go. Like, you just come home, we've lost, I start beating you.
Okay.
No, it's not. That was, the anger was not stemming from the football, unless he was hopeful that the team will lose.
Listen, guys,
you have stretched it.
Let me give you an example, something which happened. My good friend Maina Kageni of Case, we used to go and watch football in a certain place. And Maina used to write for us a column, those days in Pulse, about football. And Maina Kageni, my friend, is a diehard United fan like myself. And he had a series of articles against Liverpool. We call them the Scousers. If you don't...
Because we are winning.
Or the Poodles. So we were seated outside on a terrace, and there's a guy who walked in, and he walked straight to where Maina is and asked him, Maina Kageni, why do you hate us so much?
Us.
So before we answered, backhand slap.
Wow.
I'm Liverpool. I'm like, wow.
We personalize it.
But that is not wrong. Men just put so much power in football, and that is very wrong.
So
not
now
even football,
I'm
even
giving
teams.
you the emotion attached to football.
They don't know you.
Huh?
So the bouncers, of course, acted on him very fast.
Yeah.
But that is last time my good friend Maina wrote a column. And we always laugh about it until today. Because
but can I ask you, CEO?
Yeah.
Manchester does not know you. They don't even care.
What do you mean it doesn't know you?
It doesn't know you.
No.
These teams do not know you.
Here's
Right now,
thing.
Simon, Chelsea, I know my husband also supports Chelsea, and it's annoying that the world can stop for him to go watch football.
Of course.
I get that.
And Gor Mahia too.
Yes.
And this is the point. They don't know you. The same thing I always ask.
Now, here's the thing.
How do they know you?
Here's
you just watch a screen.
No, Maria, let me break it down.
Me, I'm just a Liverpool fan, by the way. If you tell me.
You don't even know which Liverpool.
I don't even know their uniform, but I know they win.
They wear yellow.
when they play,
No,
I'm
they
going
actually
to-
wear red. But anyway, let's say now here's the thing. What I have to break it down is this. There's some things that ladies will never understand even about men. And one of them is this.
Yeah.
The loyalty that we have to even a football team.
Why
And
not your
can you
wives?
seek to understand? Relax. Now here's the thing. When it comes to the loyalty between even a football team, what happens is this. Our identity comes especially when it comes to competition. Especially when it comes even anything with competition and high competition, we actually now connect ourselves with now that team. We don't seek to be known or whatever by that team. That is not our need. That is your needs as ladies. We don't seek that identity. We seek an identity or connection for us to win because their win is our win. Their loss is our loss. That is why men are loyal like dogs. And that is why, because we're committed to that cause and we're committed to that team, we'll champion the team, we'll scream the team, we even shout the chants for the team. And then guys will say, glory, glory, we're united. That's what they would say.
A
They'll
man
start.
who
That
loves
is what
football
is
more
what they
than
say.
the wife.
Yeah.
A man who loves football more than the wife
Is
does not deserve to have a wife.
No.
Yes.
A woman who does not understand the loyalty that a man has to his team.
The loyalty should start
no.
with me.
Actually,
if you have loyalty
actually,
with me,
no,
I
let me
will
give you a
allow
tip.
you to have loyalty with someone
Let me
else.
give you a tip. No.
No.
Let me say this.
Love me before that's
let
Chelsea.
me give you a better tip. A man who hops from team to team is not a man we should actually be loyal to as a
And
lady.
Do they
even
Ladies,
hope?
you should know that. You should never be loyal to
Do
a
they
man.
even hope?
No, don't hope.
Everyone I've met is
A
like,
man who's
I
loyal to
love
a
this
team is a very-
They are losing, and then I love this team.
No.
But you're losing. No matter what happens, actually.
That's how we love
I hear
you.
my husband telling
That's
me,
how we
I
love
started
you.
That's how we
supporting
love you.
Chelsea. I don't
Anyway,
know which
let's-
year.
And even we'll
let's-
gamble on those
What's
teams. Let me
that?
tell you even about gambling itself. Even that's also something that
Let's
we
get to
stay
gambling.
loyal. Because even a lot of guys
Oh,
even are
God.
losing their money, their wives, their heads, all because of this money. But the gambling industry is very robust in Kenya. It's over $100 million business in Kenya. True story. And you know, last year in June, they actually got they paid carry taxes over 22 billion.
Wow.
Billion Kenyan shillings. So for you gamblers out there, you're really feeding the government, and that's why the government would probably not want to push this out there. And one of the popular games that even you see within these gambling things, apart from just a normal placing your bets on the teams, Manchester United, Chelsea, or whatever, is also Avatar. Even they place it in the sense that you are a pilot. You are gonna fly the plane. Whoa!
You will
Before
fly
you
to
pull out
death.
your bet, you fly to your death. But before even I say my 2 cents on it, because I have some debts, what would your thoughts be, especially when it comes to even the gambling that you've seen, and a lot of people are losing their money on Avatar? What would you have to say?
Before that, is it Aviator or
Aviator, sorry. I said Avatar, sorry.
Okay.
Aviator, yes.
Aviator is where the flight goes.
Literally, it's just a plane that's going up, like a stock exchange. It's just going up. Your job is not to pull out at the point before the plane now crashes down. That's as simple as the game is, being honest.
Oh, it's so simple. I get that.
Simple to also lose.
Yeah. And okay, first of all, the reason why it's simple to also lose is because the house must win. The owner of the company that you are going to be gambling at must make profits. Enough that the government has to get something, enough that they have to market that business. And influencers are not cheap, and they pay so many influencers, so they have to make enough for that. Where do they get money from? You, who is gambling and taking the plane up. So, as much as you are gambling, just understand one thing. For you to win and make money, the house has to win first. And that's why you will lose, then they entice you with something, but at the same time, understand one thing. For you to have won, there are a lot of people who have lost and the house has won for that to happen. This is now the point. The point is people are not, it's hard for someone to realize the point of addiction when their mindset is based on, like, you know, what happens is this. With addiction, it's because there's a reward out of it. People get addicted to something that has a reward. You don't get addicted to something that does not benefit you in any way. So these small rewards that are given are the same reason why people will keep getting addicted to gambling. And the mind is a very complex organ, but the one thing that the mind does not know how to differentiate is the fact that people do not accept discomfort. You would not want the long way of making this money rather than the short way whereby I got a reward this time, I get a reward. Even if I lose, I need to see how, and then the competitive nature of people, I need to keep doing until I win again. I get it. Others have made good money out of gambling. I don't think if it's really good for you to get addicted, yes. But the issue is, people should now learn that gambling is a very addictive thing. And in as much as they say that you should not gamble at a certain age or all this, they also need to have a way. Like, let's say, for example, regulation or something. I feel like you should have the limited chances you can gamble in a day so that we can help our people. But then again, the businesses would not like that, because even if it's me, I own a betting company, don't give limitations to people, give
Even
me
the
money.
government.
Even the government. But my issue comes with, you use school fees money, you use your child's money, use your rent money, you use, like, if you're going to gamble, have a budget. Even have a standing order in your bank that pays all your bills then, so that you can know that the only money I have to gamble is this. It's better that way than for you to even lose your education because of gambling. It has so many disadvantages than advantages, but I get it's just an addiction problem, just like any other drug problem. Gambling is an addiction problem, and it's high time that Africans beware. You are addicted, you just don't know it. Yeah.
So yeah.
You see, gambling is not bad. It is the way we have set up our gambling on the internet. There has to be, in every organized society, gambling is there, but there's a way it's controlled. But what has happened is that our companies, small scale businessmen, have realized that's the only way they can get money out of the people. So people open up an app, and there's an gambling app and all that. So regulation has not been very tightly monitored, so that you can have, like in the States, for example, when you go to a certain, like Las Vegas, you're going to the gambling heaven. You know that one. Anyone who goes there, he'll come back broke and without anything. But it is not accessible to all other states that way. There are only small spaces where you can do it. So it does not become an everyday issue. The government of Kenya needed to set rules which governs these people. And when we reach the crisis level, which we are going towards, is what will make our government realize that actually Aviator is not very good for the citizen. You know, it's like this kidney problem. You sell your kidney and they're given 300,000, you drink, and then you go to a place, that place in Oyugi is where everyone has sold his kidney in a certain area. Young men are with one kidney each, others are so weak cannot even lift a Bible of 1 kg. Or somewhere in Usingishu, the same. Gambling is the same. People think of quick gratification, which does not exist. Because, as you said, the house will always win. Number two, it is the government to regulate. We are not saying shut gambling companies. No. We are saying let gambling companies operate in a setup that does not harm the citizenry. Let them operate under guidelines that a kid of 15 years cannot go and gamble online, for example. A kid of 18 years, you can regulate him gambling so that he does knows what he's doing. Because what has happened is that the young men are committing suicide because they take money, they gamble, because might have won 100 million. But out of that 100 million, 500,000 people have lost. And 15 people have committed suicide. And it's a national crisis.
That is true. Let me even on a perspective of the person gambling themselves. Gambling is a science and it's an art form. There are people who do it professionally, and they do it professionally because these odds are placed there because of the ways that they've balanced, even like this team or this team, based on other metrics that come into play. You who is gambling out there, you have to now make sure and take note of this. When you gamble, gamble with now sense. Don't gamble without any logic. Or hit him because whatever. No, you have to gamble with logic, sense, because there's this art form in this. Because there are people who do this professionally and they break it down to what weather are they playing, who is in and out the game, was the last time that this team played, what are the pre-game formations that they have, whatever. Is the coach in or out? Who is actually got a yellow card already? Who is on the what? There's so many aspects that you have to consider before even you place a bet in. Actually, that's if you're a logical gambler. Be a logical gambler. Don't be a illogical gambler, and that will now make you making illogical decisions. Just like how you do not take illogical risks within life. Even when you're putting in money in a business, you make sure that you know about the business. Yes, these are the rules that usually govern this business, but what really happens core ground in that business. And that's how what you put your money in. So even you gamble, what I don't tell people is don't gamble. No, use your senses. Stop being foolish in your way that you actually approach things. Just because CEO came and gave me some fact about a certain team does not mean I should take him as his word. I should now go back, do my research about what he has said, and then I make a decision on what I'll put in on my stake. And then I don't put everything out there. You don't put your stake everything out there. You don't put your school fees money. You put in money that you can afford to lose. Yeah. All right? You put in money you can afford to lose. Just like how you put in money you can probably afford to lose in a new business.
Or you don't go to the bar and drink.
Exactly. Even a new because you don't want to do. You don't risk gambling because it's an art form. Being honest. There are people who do this professionally, even in Las Vegas and everything. They put their odds properly. Then they bet this and this and this. The guys who even play poker professionally. There's an art form in this. They're actually professionals who do it because they put in their logic and they actually put in their study in this particular art form. There is an art form in this. But what you have to do is don't be foolish thinking that you just came in the other day, you can place your bet in something that you don't know. You don't know anything about handball and you're here betting on a random team that you don't even know about. And there are people who do that.
And you're betting in a team in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, exactly. Uzbekistan. Exactly.
You've never watched the league.
You've never watched the league and everything. You've not even watched the last 3 games in the Premier League and you don't know, and you're here betting on certain teams. And then now, here you are on Avatar. Here, let me say this. Yeah. On Avatar, it's more of what happens is they give you an out the first few times that you play. Usually they let you win.
So addictive.
Yes, they let you win an Avatar the first few times. What happens is when you increase your stake, now you're let's say putting in maybe 100 bob. You decide to put in 500 because you got in 1,000. You decide to put in 500. Then they allow you to win a little bit more. Then now you all of a sudden have 2K from that 100 bob that you put in. And you're like, this makes some sense. What happens is now, by the time you're putting in 1,000, yes, it gets lost. Yeah. Then the frustration comes in. Why did I lose that 1,000? Let me put in now 1,000 so I can now get that 5K.
That's the cycle. Will they allow me to win tomorrow?
No, it's not allowed.
They will not allow you.
So I join today, I win 2,000, I go away forever.
You can do that.
But you cannot. Gambling is about addiction.
Yes.
And people, when you win, you come and you expect to win more.
Listen,
we are closing.
No, this is the advice, CEO. Yeah, join all gambling sites, win 2,000 in all of them. Get out.
You can't get out.
Like for me, even I've won a net profit of Sportpesa 6K. That's I've done my math.
Yes.
Way back, around 10 years ago. I have a 6K that I won. That's all I have to say. So gamble with some logic. Yes. Don't be foolish, guys.
It has been real. It's been real.
You don't even know a player.
What's Liverpool is there?
You don't even know a player.
The Poodles are okay. It's been real. It's been a wonderful month.
You will walk alone. You don't even know what I mean by that. But you
I also say Liverpool fan. Congratulations to those family. But you will not walk alone. You will die alone. That's our end.
Next week I'll join another team that will be winning. So I'm not even attached.
She's not loyal, and that's us keeping it real. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.